Tri-City Sports Now in a few minutes. Jerry Bonkowski is going to join me. Right Rev of Speed. Came out yesterday. A couple of things are involving the Tennessee Volunteers. First of all, Jalen Cone goes to Virginia Tech. So Mike Young has his first big recruit with the Hokies. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, though, for the Volunteers because, Hosea James, had committed, and that was back the year in 2018. I mean, that was back in September, and he was going to play for the Vols this year. And so I was still trying to figure out how Cone and James were going to play on the same team. Now, this is, not to say, if it wasn't for this, Tennessee would obviously land a player instead of Virginia Tech. I'm not saying that, and I'm not sure about that either, because one's in the ACC and the other's in the SEC. But still, Cone went to Virginia Tech. He's from North Carolina. He turned down Wake Forest and NC State, as well as Texas A&M and Boston College, as well as Tennessee, to play for the Hokies. Hokies, their basketball program is in a good place that it's never been before. They were in a Sweet 16 last year. So, maybe, nice to have that point guard depth, with Jordan Bone leaving and all. Well, assuming he does, but I think that's a pretty safe bet right now. So, but anyway, but like I said, I don't think it's the end of the world. It's a nice pickup, though, for Virginia Tech. And that's why they kept one of, when Mike Young, there was a particular assistant coach they actually kept on the staff in order to get Cone. So he was big. That was a big get for the Hokies. Yesterday, the announcement made. We'd been following that. I still think that recruiting rankings can be overrated. But what made this an interesting story to me was, does he go to Tennessee or does he go to Virginia Tech? There you go. UT also announced that their football schedule for 2020 is complete, as they will be taking on the Troy Trojans to complete their schedule not next season, but next year. And the Trojans, let's see here, they will join an out-of-conference schedule, including Furman, Oklahoma, and who else do we have here? They'll join that, and I'm looking for the one other one because I'm trying to bring up their schedule right now on the world's slowest computer. So give me a minute here, and I will tell you who they will play. Charlotte. They open up with Charlotte. Times are to be announced, but actually the 2020 Tennessee, for those looking ahead, it opens up Saturday, September 5th with the Charlotte 49ers. It'll be an election year, actually, now that I think about it. Then they're all election years, presidential election year. It'll be a leap year. Okay. Saturday, September 5th, the 49ers come in from Charlotte. Then down in Knoxville, they will leave Knoxville the next week and go to Oklahoma as that series continues. And then on September 29th, the Furman Paladins will come to Neyland Stadium. And on Saturday, November 21st, I guess that would probably be before the Vanderbilt game, the Volunteers will take on Troy out of the Sun Belt. So basically you're looking at this. This is how, teams schedule, especially Tennessee. They, schedule 3 cupcakes, 1 FCS, 2 out of power conferences, and then they have 1 challenge. This year it'll be BYU, if that's a challenge. Next year it'll be Oklahoma. That is a challenge. After that, it'll be home and home with Pitt. That could be a challenge. By the way, in 90, the SEC games, you know what they'll be in the SEC East. That'll be the year that Alabama comes into Neyland Stadium. And it will be the year that they will travel to Arkansas. Tennessee seems to play Arkansas. Even more than you would think. It's like they're trying to relive the 71 Liberty Bowl or something. Arkansas. That's who the Razorbacks will play. That's who the Volunteers will play. The Razorbacks at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right. So yeah, actually you could do far tougher in an out-of-conference schedule than Arkansas, one would think. Then again, the way, it's Mississippi State is that other SEC game this year, and it's going to be in Neyland. So that's the case right there. Also, Peyton Manning is opening a restaurant in Knoxville. We'll have to contact Peyton Manning and get some advertising for that. All right. When I'm about, a couple of minutes away from Jerry Bonkowski, as NASCAR will be going to Kansas tomorrow. They'll be running the Cup race, not on Mother's Day. Yeah, NASCAR doesn't like to go on the holidays, I suppose. Although, we've talked a lot about playing. We've talked a lot about playing races, that are running races in the middle of the week. I could actually see a July 4th race being really big, to tell you the truth. Anyway, by the way, one other college football piece of news, and I tell you that Troy is going to play Tennessee on November 21st of 2020 in Neyland Stadium. Let's not forget, or let's also tell you, here's something interesting. Oklahoma State and Tulsa have scheduled an 8-game football series. Now that makes sense. So let me ask you this. In lieu of that, in lieu of Georgia Tech and Georgia playing every year, Clemson and South Carolina, Florida State, how come Tulane and LSU can't meet every year? Texas and Texas A&M, Pitt and Penn State. Sport would be a lot better if there were more interstate rivalries out of conference, and Oklahoma State and Tulsa figured that out. Jerry Bonkowski is next.
20W.